Musa Bangura was once a man with a very clear mission in life. He was a dedicated Christian missionary, filled with a strong belief in his faith. For many years he traveled across the vast and diverse continent of Africa, from bustling cities to quiet, remote villages. His primary purpose was to share the teachings of Christianity with as many people as he could reach. He was particularly focused on engaging with Muslim communities, hoping to persuade them to embrace his own religious beliefs. His work was his passion, and he poured all of his energy into this calling, believing he was guiding people toward the one true path. His training as a priest was specific and intensive. He learned how to present the Christian message in a way that would be compelling and persuasive to others, especially to those who already held strong Islamic faith. He was taught various methods and strategies to challenge the beliefs of Muslims and highlight what he was told were contradictions within their religion. For a long time, this was his world. He saw himself as a soldier for his faith, working diligently to expand the reach of Christianity throughout Africa. He truly believed in the importance of his work and the truth he was sharing with everyone he met. This dedication took him far from his home in Sierra Leone. He journeyed through many different countries, learning about new cultures and meeting countless people along the way. His life was one of constant movement, driven by the singular goal of conversion. He would spend long hours in discussions and debates, using the knowledge he had acquired to try and win people over to his side. He was respected within his community for his commitment and his unwavering determination. To many, he was a powerful and influential figure in the world of Christian missionary work, a symbol of devotion. In Sierra Leone, the religious landscape was complex. While Muslims formed a majority of the population, Christian organizations often had more resources and influence. Bangura observed that many Christian missionary groups used their financial advantages to attract people, especially the youth from impoverished Muslim families. He was part of this system, believing that providing aid was a way to open doors for his religious message. He saw this as a necessary strategy in what he considered a spiritual battle for the soul of Africa, aiming to diminish the presence of Islam on the continent. After years of dedicated missionary work, something unexpected began to happen to Musa Bangura. It started with a dream. This was not an ordinary dream that fades with the morning light. It was vivid, clear, and deeply impactful. In this dream, he found himself in a place of immense peace and tranquility. He saw people praying together in a way he recognized as the Muslim form of prayer. A gentle voice spoke to him, not with force but with a calm and inviting tone. The voice simply suggested that he should consider embracing Islam, the very faith he had spent years trying to dismantle. The first time he had the dream, he tried to dismiss it as a strange anomaly. Perhaps it was the result of stress or his constant engagement with Muslim communities. He was a Christian priest after all, and the idea of converting to Islam was completely unthinkable to him. He prayed, asking for clarity and for the strange dream to go away. He tried to focus even more intensely on his missionary duties, hoping to push the unsettling experience out of his mind. However, the dream was not a one-time event. It was persistent and refused to be ignored, lingering in his thoughts long after he awoke. The very next night the dream returned. It was exactly the same as before, with the same peaceful atmosphere and the same gentle invitation to Islam. This time it left a deeper impression on him. He started to feel a sense of unease and confusion. 2 consecutive nights with the exact same powerful dream felt like more than a coincidence. It felt like a message. He began to question everything he had been taught and everything he believed. The certainty he once had about his own faith started to crack, and a small seed of doubt began to grow in its place. On the 3rd consecutive night, the dream came again. The repetition was undeniable and profound. It was no longer something he could ignore or explain away. Bangura felt that this was a direct and personal call, an invitation from a higher power that he had to take seriously. The dream was not threatening. It was a peaceful and persistent call to a different path. This recurring vision marked the beginning of a monumental shift in his life. It forced him to stop, to think, and to reevaluate his entire existence and the spiritual journey he was on. In 1993, this powerful experience led him to make a life-altering decision. When Musa Bangura finally decided to follow the message from his dreams and embrace Islam, the consequences were immediate and severe. Yet, in the midst of this turmoil, the teachings of Islam and the support of the Muslim community would become his guiding light. The life he had known for so long completely fell apart. The first people to turn away from him were his own family. His wife, unable to accept his new faith, decided to leave him. His children and other relatives also abandoned him, viewing his conversion as a betrayal of everything they stood for. In a matter of days, he lost the love and support of those who were closest to him. He was suddenly alone, facing a new and uncertain future without his family by his side. The rejection was not limited to his family. The Christian community that had once celebrated him as a dedicated missionary now saw him as an outcast. His friends turned their backs on him, and he was shunned by the very people he had once called his brothers in faith. His property, which he had worked hard to acquire over the years, was seized from him. He was left with nothing but the clothes on his back and his newfound conviction. The community that had provided him with an identity and a purpose now treated him like an enemy, making him feel like a stranger in his own home. The situation grew even more dangerous. As news of his conversion spread, Bangura began to receive death threats. People who were once his followers were now filled with anger and resentment. They saw his embrace of Islam as a deep offense, and some were willing to resort to violence. His life was in genuine peril, and he could no longer live openly in his community. The threat was so serious that he was forced to go into hiding to protect himself. This was a dark and difficult period, filled with fear and uncertainty about what would happen next. For 6 long months, Musa Bangura lived in hiding, protected by members of the local Muslim community who had heard his story. The Muslim brothers and sisters, guided by the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, welcomed him with open arms, embodying the Islamic values of compassion, brotherhood, and support for those in need. They took him in, offered him shelter, and ensured his safety from those who wished him harm. In their company, Musa found solace in the daily prayers, the recitation of the Quran, and the warmth of a new spiritual family. The Muslim community not only provided him with physical protection but also helped him deepen his understanding of Islam and its teachings of patience, perseverance, and trust in Allah. This period of isolation became a profound test of his new faith. Musa spent countless hours in prayer and reflection, drawing strength from verses of the Quran that spoke of the trials faced by the prophets and the promise of Allah's mercy for those who remain steadfast. He had lost his family, his home, his possessions, and his social standing. All he had left was his belief in Islam, and the unwavering support of his new Muslim brothers and sisters. Their kindness and generosity reminded him of the Prophet's words. The believers, in their mutual kindness, compassion, and sympathy, are just like one body. It was during this time of immense hardship that his commitment was truly forged. The teachings of Islam and the embrace of the Muslim community strengthened his resolve, not only to practice his new religion but to dedicate his life to sharing its message of peace, mercy, and unity with others. Emerging from his period of hiding, Musa Bangura was a changed man with a new and powerful mission. He wanted to share the reasons for his conversion and help others understand the beauty he had found in Islam. To achieve this, he created a website called Why Islam. This online platform became a space where he could explain the principles of his new faith. He also used it to discuss what he now saw as contradictions within Christian teachings, drawing from his extensive experience as a priest. The website was designed to be a resource for people who were curious about Islam or who had questions about their own beliefs. In 1995, he expanded his efforts by founding a non-governmental organization called Why Islam in Action. He recognized that many new converts faced the same challenges he had, including social rejection and financial hardship. Why Islam in Action was created to provide practical support to these individuals. The organization, with sponsorship from Turkish humanitarian groups, offered material aid, spiritual guidance, and educational opportunities to help new Muslims build a stable life. It became a support system for those who had sacrificed everything for their faith, ensuring they were not left alone on their journey. The impact of Bangura's work has been remarkable. Through his preaching and the Why Islam website, he has inspired thousands of people to learn more about Islam. It is reported that over 8,000 individuals have embraced the faith as a direct result of his efforts. Perhaps most astonishingly, this number includes more than 500 Christian priests and pastors who, like Bangura, decided to change their spiritual path after hearing his story and his arguments. His unique background as a former missionary gave him a credible voice that resonated deeply with many Christians who were seeking answers. Today, Musa Bangura continues his work with unwavering dedication. He focuses on supporting the Muslim community in Sierra Leone, which often faces difficult living conditions and intense pressure from Christian missionary activities. He understands the challenges firsthand and works tirelessly to provide new converts with the education and resources they need to thrive. His life story is a powerful testament to the journey of faith. From a Christian missionary trying to convert Muslims, he has become a Muslim preacher dedicated to sharing the message of Islam and supporting those who choose to walk the same path.